Hey everyone, welcome back to DSP Lectures. In this video, we will introduce ourselves to discrete time systems and we will see the basic building blocks of a discrete time system. So, let's get started. A discrete time system is anything that takes a discrete time signal as input and generates a discrete time signal as output. This system can be represented by a block diagram like this. The input signal x of n is fed to the system, which transforms the input signal to the output signal y of n. This can be mathematically expressed as y of n equal to t of x of n, where the operator t denotes the transformation of x of n to y of n by the system. Also, sometimes this expression is expressed like this. Now, another way to represent a discrete time system is by a set of difference equations. For example, consider the difference equation y of n equal to 2 into x of n. This equation represents a discrete time system which operates on an input x of n to produce an output y of n, which is twice the input signal. Also, here we observe that for this system, the output at time n equal to n0 depends only on the value of input at n equal to n0. That is, y of n0 is equal to twice x of n0. You can see that the output at time n0 only depends on the input at time n0. But this may not be the case always. There may be systems where the output at instance n0 depends not only on the value of the input at instance n0 but also on the values of the input applied to the system before and after the instance n0. For example, consider the system described by y of n equal to sigma k equal to minus infinity to n x of k. This expression can also be written as sigma k equal to minus infinity to n minus 1 x of k plus x of n, right? Also, if you see, this summation is equal to y of n minus 1. Therefore, y of n will be y of n minus 1 plus x of n. Okay? Now, suppose that we are given the input signal x of n for n greater than or equal to n0 and we need to find the output signal y of n for n greater than or equal to n0. Using this difference equation, for n equal to n0 we have y of n0 equal to y of n0 minus 1 plus x of n0. For n equal to n0 plus 1 we have y of n0 plus 1 equal to y of n0 plus x of n0 plus 1 and so on. Here we can compute the value of y of n0 plus 1 because we are given the value of x of n0 plus 1 and we can compute the value of y of n0 using this equation. In similar fashion, we can compute y of n0 plus 2, y of n0 plus 3, etc. But when it comes to the computation of y of n0, we have a problem. We do not know the value of y of n0 minus 1. As seen earlier, y of n0 minus 1 is equal to sigma k equal to minus infinity to n0 minus 1 x of k. That is, y of n0 minus 1 is the combined effect of all the inputs applied to the system before time n0. But we do not have any information on those inputs. We only know the inputs for instances greater than or equal to n0. Thus, to determine y of n for n greater than or equal to n0, we need the additional information y of n0 minus 1. This additional information is called initial condition. Initial condition. When the initial condition is 0, we say that the system is initially relaxed. For instance, This system is said to be initially relaxed if the value of y of n0 minus 1 is 0. Let us now take a small example to understand this concept further. Consider a system described by y of n is equal to sigma k equal to minus infinity to n x of k. This system is excited by the sequence x of n equal to n into u of n from the instance n equal to 0. So the output of the system is y of n equal to sigma k equal to minus infinity to n x of k equal to sigma k equal to minus infinity to minus 1 x of k plus sigma k equal to 0 to n x of k. If you see, this summation is equal to y of minus 1. Therefore, we have y of minus 1 plus sigma k equal to 0 to n x of k. Here, we all know the values of x of k from k equal to 0 to n because we are given that the input to the system from instance n equal to 0 is x of n equal to n into u of n. But we do not know the value of y of minus 1 as the value of x of k from k equal to minus infinity to minus 1 is not given to us. So this is the initial condition for which we need the value. Okay, so we have y of n equal to y of minus 1 plus, let us expand this summation. So we have x of 0 plus x of 1 plus x of 2 plus etc. to x of n. We are given in the question that x of n equal to n into u of n for n greater than or equal to 0. So we have x of 0 equal to 0 into u of 0 which is 0, x of 1 equal to 1 into u of 1 which is 1, x of 2 equal to 2 into u of 2 which is equal to 2, and if we follow like this, x of n is equal to n into u of n which is n. Therefore, this is equal to y of minus 1 plus 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus etc. plus n, which is equal to y of minus 1 plus n into n plus 1 by 2. If you are wondering how this expression came, it is the expression for sum of natural numbers up to n. Okay. Now coming to the subquestion 1, we need to determine the system output when it is initially relaxed. That is when y of minus 1 is equal to 0. Therefore, the output under this condition is y of n equal to 0 plus n into n plus 1 by 2 which is equal to n into n plus 1 by 2. When you see the subsection 2, the initial condition is y of minus 1 equal to 1. Therefore, when it comes to subsection 2, the initial condition is y of minus 1 equal to 1. So, the output y of n is equal to 1 plus n into n plus 1 by 2 which is equal to n square plus n plus 2 by 2 for n greater than or equal to 0. Here also we need to mention the condition n greater than or equal to 0. One important thing to note here is that the output equation varies a lot depending on the initial condition. Hence, you can see that the initial condition is an important aspect when it comes to discrete time systems. The next topic we need to learn is block diagram representation of discrete time systems. Any complex system is formed by the interconnection of some basic building blocks. These building blocks are an adder, a scalar or constant multiplier, a modulator or signal multiplier, a unit delay element, and a unit advance element. We have studied these blocks in detail in lecture number 3 and solved many examples based on this in lecture number 9 and 10. So, those who are unfamiliar with this topic, please visit lectures 3, 9 and 10. The link to those videos are given in the descriptions below. From these videos, you will learn that any block diagram can be represented using difference equation and vice versa. That's all for this lecture. To summarize, we learned what is a discrete time system, the importance of initial condition, and the basic building blocks of a discrete time system. In the next video, we will learn about properties of discrete time systems. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask them in the comments. Either we or some other viewer will surely help you. Also, if you found this lecture useful, please like the video and support us by subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching Topperly and have a great day.